Yo, what up, everybody? Welcome to the Enough Said podcast. We are in season 4, just wrapping it up, guys. It's episode 23, Super Bowl Sunday. Oh, he had to put that hat on, man. Come on, now.
He had to put it on.
Oh,
Jeez,
man.
He had to put it on.
You got to put him on the big screen there so we can see it. Can you put him where I am so we can see that
Yeah,
nonsense?
I can put it over.
All right, let's see.
Yeah.
Hey, Dre, you had the authority to black that screen because you blacked that screen on me a couple weeks ago. Just black it out, man. That's all when he starts talking.
Yeah.
And
in honor of Debo, I wore my Trashberry shirt today. Yeah, I gotta do it. So, he won't be an Eagle much longer. But speaking of which, we'll talk about that today. But we got a lot to talk about on the show, obviously being Super Bowl Sunday. Number one, how these teams got there. And number 2, what we expect to happen today. We are not going to mention Taylor Swift. I'm just saying that right now, guys, because I don't want to hear one more freaking thing.
Please no. Please no. Honestly. All right.
But we got a couple things to talk about today. In addition to that, we got some coaching moves. And Mike had a good topic. Is NFC East a mess now? And then players on the move. We're talking, I heard Saquon to the Chargers. Oh, man. We'll see.
Really? That's what the rule. Wow, I didn't hear that.
Yes.
If we do get time, I got a little bit of a game too. We can do it at the end if we got time.
We'll make time. We'll make time, especially if that hat's on. We'll make time,
Yes, sir.
But first things first, does anybody care who wins today? Oh, I'm sorry, Mike.
Nope.
Go ahead.
Nope.
Come
I
on,
do not.
Man. San Francisco. Let's start with it. Jermaine, you know what the number 5 is?
No, I don't. What's number 5?
It's not how many minutes it took to get the guy fired over the chiller either. It's not that. The last 5 out of 6 Super Bowls the Chiefs have been in. Here we go again. So, Jermaine, we'll start with this. If he wins today, are we talking like Tom Brady if Mahomes wins today?
No. And I don't understand why people are putting him in. Yes, he'll have 3 Super Bowls. But don't you know he's got a long way to get to where Tom Brady's at? And I don't think he's going to get it. Yes. If he does it, this will be one of his biggest accomplishments if he wins this. If he wins tonight, this will be one of his biggest. But he's not even close. I mean, I don't even think he's not in the same category, not yet. You know what I mean? So that's just how I feel. So.
Yeah,
I think it's too soon to put him in that category, but I do think he's definitely locked in. In the top. He'll be in the top 5. I think.
Oh yeah, I agree. Yeah,
it's going to be hard to dispute that. I mean, especially having that much success that quickly in his career, This be back to back they win today. I mean, it's quite impressive. Very impressive.
It is. I agree. Yep.
Dre, what do you think? We talking Tom Brady here or what?
No.
No? He's like, no.
No.
Are we talking Brett Favre, number 4 on your list?
But Kansas City is in the the path of being a dynasty. That the last dynasty was New England Patriots. So I do see that. I mean, hey man, they do have a squad, and they got Patrick Mahomes. He's got it, but I don't know, man. Like Jermaine said, I don't know if he can reach Tom Brady, but if they do win today, I will put him as a dynasty team. I will put him as a number 1. He's number 1 quarterback of the NFL.
Yeah.
You guys can rest assured because I heard that Tony is playing today.
No, he's not. He's not.
I thought I saw that he wasn't scratched.
I just saw that he's not playing. I guess they're done with him.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's talk about how these teams got there. Mike, that game was almost over against Detroit, and then a ball hits the guy in the helmet. The dude catches it on the 2-yard line. They go in for a touchdown. Then there's a freaking special teams. I mean, Holy,
It was
that
the
game
fumble,
turned
yeah.
around so quick, man. What happened? Is it
Yeah,
a little
I
bit
mean,
of luck
gotta
too?
say they got lucky, man. They got big time lucky.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, they still had to execute, they still had to score, and when they got the opportunities, they finally capitalized on it. But I mean, that you know, I guess as they say is why cornerbacks and DBs are in the position they are, because they're not wide receivers who couldn't catch. You know, so then you become a DB, and that's what happened. You know, the guy had the ball. It was almost like watching the Kwaski Tart in that game against the Rams a couple years ago, where the ball hit him right in the face and he dropped it. You're like, how do you drop that? You know, it's just, you know, I people are like, it's scripted. I don't know how you script that. I don't know how you tell the guy, yeah, I want you to have the ball, you know, hit you in the face, and then you're gonna push it up in the air so the other guy can catch it. I mean, it's just one of those things. But that turned the game. That play,
Oh yeah.
and then even though that play happened, they still had to score. And that was on third down. They scored a touchdown. But then right after that, Gibbs fumbled. And then once the fumble happened, then you started feeling the momentum start shifting, you know, and then it's like Detroit got a little tight. Then the play calling started getting a little tight. And then Reynolds had the big drops. It's just stuff just started working. You know, I don't know what else to say. I mean, it's just one of them things that just, yeah, it's just one of them days. You know, stuff goes your way. Sometimes they don't. And it went Niners' way. That's 2 years in a row it's happened like that.
Yeah, yeah. Dre, let's look on the other side. So for the Chiefs, did you really think the Chiefs are going to beat the Ravens? I mean,
no, not at all. No, not at all.
Yeah.
And actually, the Chiefs have really all the struggle they had during the regular season, right? And you know, I was speculating, it's like, oh well, they could, you know, when Bieniemy left, I was like, they got offensive coordinator problems. Receivers can't catch. Travis Kelce's in Cupid land. So, you know, it's like, what is going on with this team? And I did not see this at all coming. And then the Ravens really just didn't show up. Yeah. They didn't show up. I mean, they were supposed to beat this team. It was supposed to be, I had the Ravens and 49ers in there, but I feel that Kansas City has proven that they are the team that they are, and if, like I said before, future dynasty team, and they showed it, and that's why they're here tonight.
Yeah, Andy Reid.
Yeah,
go ahead, Mike. Sorry, man.
Okay. I was just gonna say one thing you kind of remember for those New England teams is what they always seem to find a way to win, like find a way to beat you. And it was always something different. You know, every year they had a different offense or a different defense, different something, but they always found something different to beat you. And like this year, Kansas City, as bad as it looked at times, you know, when they got to the playoffs, you know, they only put up 17 points on the Ravens. It wasn't a big scoring game. It was a lot of defense. And then they took the Ravens really out of their game. They were trash talking. Kelce was up there trash talking, getting penalties, you know, drawing penalties from the Ravens. You know, the Ravens had Flowers standing over a guy like this because he caught the ball. Like, they took the Ravens totally out of their game and made them play out of character. They didn't run the ball like they do. You know, they had Lamar dropping back, passing the ball a whole bunch of times, you know, taking sacks. And it was just, I don't know how the Chiefs did it. It was like the early score with the Chiefs going up and down up the field and scoring early just kind of put the Ravens into like a kind of a panic mode a little bit, you know, like they were surprised. And then the game fell apart from there. They took the Ravens completely out their game.
Yeah, that surprised me because I really thought that the Ravens would have a better showing than that, especially Lamar. But you're right, yeah, the running game like all of a sudden disappeared. It looked like the Eagles' offense. So, other than that, man, it was really interesting to get the two teams in there because I honestly thought it was going to be the Chiefs and the Ravens. I thought, or Chiefs and Ravens.
Yeah.
Sorry, 49ers and the Ravens. Never expected that, you know, Detroit was number one going to put up a game like they did. And I thought Detroit had a chance to win that game. And then I was like, okay, is this going to be like, could it be Detroit? And, you know, I was like, maybe. And then all of a sudden the wheels just came off, man. Talking about the coaching for both teams, though, I do want to get into the coaching. So, what do you guys think in terms of? I mean, Andy Reid, obviously, we know him here. Are we talking Hall of Fame coaches here between him and Harbaugh at this point? I mean, do these guys have anything left to prove?
Yeah, I think I think Andy Reid is definitely a Hall of Fame coach, and it's a shoe lock-in if he wins this today. So yeah, I definitely think he's a shoe-in. Harbaugh,
Yeah.
I think he's on that. He's about to get in there. He's on the outskirts.
Are you saying Harbaugh or Shanahan?
I mean Shanahan. Yeah, what we talking about? Harbaugh or Shanahan?
I said Harbaugh. Yeah.
I said Harbaugh. I meant Shanahan. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
Shanahan.
Why are we talking about Harbaugh?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Well, no, hold on, man. Why are we talking about Shanahan? I mean, Shanahan hasn't won anything yet. I mean, he's been there, and I know we'll talk about it in a minute and whatnot, but he's been there. But no, I don't think he's a Hall of Fame coach yet. No, not yet. Because he went to 4 out of the 5. He went to the NFC Championship, but you haven't won anything. So that's just my opinion. But we'll talk about that down in a minute, Mike.
I think Andy Reid for sure is already a Hall of Fame coach. I mean, you can't go to 2 teams and have the success that he's had. I mean, he almost got a Super Bowl with the Eagles, took them to 6 straight championship, games, and then with the Chiefs, it's another 6 straight, at least championship games. Just 2 Super Bowls already, possibly a third if they win today. I mean, he's a lock. I think Shanahan needs to get a Super Bowl win to be in the conversation. I think he's done a lot. I think there's a lot that you could talk about Shanahan, what he's meant to the NFL, what he's meant to other coaches and, his system and all that kind of stuff. There's a lot there, but for his legacy, especially, with his dad and everything he's come up with, he's got to get the Super Bowl win. That's why I think that today is such a big game for him, because this is getting over the hump. You got to get your first one. Andy Reid was in that same boat too. He had to get that first one. Otherwise, he was just going to be an innovative coach that people were like, oh, he's a good dude. But, getting that first ring kind of puts you in another category, and then getting more than one ring definitely puts you in a higher category.
All right, cool. Yeah, just quickly, those who are watching us, we're trying to fix the chat, so hang in there if you're not able to chat with us. We're working on it, and we'll try to get that back up and running soon. All right, so let's figure out who has the advantage today. These teams are pretty close, but you look at the skill positions. I think obviously the Niners have the better players in skill positions. I mean, with wide receiver, you got to give Niners the head. I think linebackers, you also got to give Niners the head. Defense, that one, is tough overall. But I think linebackers, definitely they got it. Their defensive line, I think the Niners got it. Offensive lines are kind of close. Give a little bit, I think, to the Niners there. Just, anybody see advantages one way or another, like besides wide receiver, I think that's the biggest gap.
No, I think you hit it. I mean, I agree to everything you said, Sal. I mean, I don't really see anybody unless it comes down to special teams, like it did last year against Philly. So I mean, I could be, so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Dre, what do you think? Any big advantage on one side of the ball or the other? Can Brock Purdy somehow outduel Patrick Mahomes?
Actually, I'm going to defense. It's all on Fred Warner and Dre Greenlaw. The linebackers, man, they got to really, really hold it down. And I really think it's them, honestly. Them two get going, and then everybody else will. That's the way I could see San Fran beating the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, I think it is a big part of the San Fran defense, especially after the last 2 games where it looked like they had no defense. So there was a big question about effort. You saw the footage of Chase Young kind of, jogging over to go tackle somebody, and that kind of stood out. There were some other plays that happened. So there was a big question about effort. So hoping today that they all come out fired up. No one's sitting there showing fatigue and tiredness and go out and hustle. But shutting down the run, I think, is going to be the key. As great as Mahomes is on throwing the ball, I mean, we talked about it. Their receivers have not been great. Rashee Rice has been probably the bright spot, and of course, Travis Kelce's great. But we always talk about the playoffs, and what mess with you, what hurt you in the regular season comes back to haunt you in the playoffs. And receivers have always been a problem for the Chiefs. And yeah, they kind of stepped up against the Ravens. They still didn't look good. I mean, even when MVS caught the pass at the end of the game, he was turning around, fumble. He still caught the ball on his chest. He didn't catch it with his hands. He cradled it in. And then, so they're not catching the ball, So I'm kind of expecting San Fran's defense, if they can shut down Pacheco and force Mahomes to have to throw the ball. I think Mahomes can get the ball there, but his receivers are going to let him down, and that could be the difference of the game, is that they can't get their offense going because the receivers stink.
Yeah, well, you're right. You're right too. I'm sorry, Dre. Yeah, you're right too. As far as I feel as though that front four or that front seven needs to get home on Patrick Mahomes, and you got to make him move. You know what I mean? Because if he sits in that pocket, I mean, it's going to be it's going to be the Patrick Mahomes show. But and games during the season and whatnot. Some teams, and I forgot teams that every time he dropped back, he had to move. He had to move. So you got to get him off his spot. And really get home. And like you said, Mike, Chase Young has got to step up. What has he been doing the last few games? And then Nick Bosa, you really haven't heard his name either. This is supposed to be your elite, defense. And like what Dre said with Greenlaw and Warner, they got to wake up. Because this is, like I said, Mike, and just like you said, this is the Patrick Mahomes show. You got to take him off his spot.
Yeah, let's not forget that Mahomes beat the Eagles without any wide receivers. So, it's not going to.
Yeah. The one game they decided to show up, right? They didn't catch anything all year. And last year, all the no-names were the ones catching the balls.
Yep. And, that phantom penalty at the end, everything, they wound up winning it. Right. So, we know how that turned out. Right. So, you never know, man, any given Sunday. Yep. All right, so let's get some predictions in here overall, then we'll get to some other things today. Do I even need to ask Mike? We'll start with him, but do I even need to ask who he thinks is going to win today?
No. The only thing I can predict, I'll go on a limb and say Jay Greenlaw's going to have a great game, and he's going to get his pick six.
Is he going to go down? That's the question.
Yeah.
Dre, who you like?
Neither one of them. That's why I told Mike earlier. Man, Mike, first of all, San Fran shouldn't even been here today, right? Green Bay and Detroit had you guys on the ropes.
Wow.
Yeah.
They should have beat y'all fair and square. And they screwed up. They lost. They did. And I just can't say San Fran, man. It's just only way I can say San Fran.
You're not alone if you say Kansas City, man. It's like 70% of the football people out there saying Kansas City. So
no, I'm not. Look, Brock Purdy, okay, the Mr. Irrelevant, right? Mm-hmm. He really has to show me that he could do it today. If he could show me that he could do it today, like if you guys are down like 14 points or something like that against Kansas City, and y'all come back, hats off to him. He deserved that ring and maybe MVP today for the Super Bowl. That's what San Fran's got to show me. Brock Purdy's got to show me that. Mm-hmm. Kansas City, they just got to, what do you call it? They just got to execute all their numbers. They got to cross their T's and dot the I's. They got to hit everything on the game plan. Because San Fran is dangerous in the defense if they can smell a turnover or smell something wrong. But Kansas City, man, it's a team like you always say. What's the name? Don't die. I forgot who.
The zombie team, right?
Zombie team.
You got. Was it double tap? You got to shoot twice, otherwise they'll come right back up and keep coming after you.
Exactly. So to answer your question, Sal, I'm taking Kansas City.
All right. Jermaine, who you like today, man?
Yeah, what Dre was saying, he stole a lot of my thunder and whatnot, but yeah, he's right. He's right. It's the same fact, because everybody that I talk to, Mike, it's like, well, who you got in the Super Bowl? It's like, oh, I really don't care. And I think much of that is because of Kansas City, because they're in there and whatnot. And I guess everybody's just getting tired of seeing this and whatnot, So, but my thing is, who's going to show up this week? Who's going to show up this weekend? Is it going to be the San Fran that dominated in the regular season? They had great games in the regular, or are you going to see the ones that Green Bay gave that game to San Fran and Detroit gave that game to San Fran? They did. You know what I mean? I mean, 24-10. If you go 24-10, like what Dre's saying, that's a wrap. You can't go down. You can't go down 24-10 against Patrick Mahomes. I mean, that's it. You know. So,
Right.
yeah, you know, like I said, they got to play. They got to play like that, like what we saw in the regular season. Because in the playoffs, they did not. What I was looking at, and what the last two games that they played, I did not see that intensity. I did not see they just like, oh yeah, and they just running through the, just walking through. It's like a walkthrough at practice and whatnot. And then all of a sudden they woke up. And like I said, both games were given to them. So which team is going to show up? And then again, Brock Purdy. It's going to come down on Brock Purdy. They're going to make Brock Purdy win, and I don't know what happened with Cafferty. I don't know what's going to happen. But it's going to be it's going to be interesting to a point, because that's when I'm going to see the couple things. But other than that, it's like I really don't care. It's like I don't care. I don't care either. It's the Super Bowl, baby. It's Super Bowl Sunday, and I feel as though, if anybody's listening out there, I feel as though that Monday should be a holiday. You know what I mean? Since Super Bowl Sunday, Super Bowl should be a Sunday, and we should have a holiday the day after. So. But nah, if I had to pick somebody, it would probably be KC, because KC came up the rough road. I mean, Patrick Mahomes proved it. He can win on the road against Buffalo, against Baltimore. I mean, he did it. He did it. So he took that tougher road. He's like, see, now everybody needs to shut up, including me, including you, Dre. Shut up and just give this man his props. But if I was picking, it'd be Kansas City.
All right. Well, yeah, and I think that Big Dom will call it a holiday if actually the Chiefs win. So we'll say that.
Yeah. Right.
Here's the thing. Like I'm with you, Jermaine. I hear you. I hope both teams lose, honestly. But no, sorry, Mike. But
sorry.
Here's the thing. I know Andy Reid's defenses, and Andy Reid's defenses always have trouble against the tight end. And the 49ers have a very good one, right?
Yeah.
So I believe.
Yeah, this guy named Kittles.
Yep. So I believe that he's going to have a big game today, Kittle. And I also think you're going to see McCaffrey across the middle a lot. I think Andy Reid has never been good with routes across the middle, dump passes. His defense has not been able to do that. I think McCaffrey and Kittle are going to have a big game today. I think they'll hold Ayuk in check. I think they'll hold Debo in check. But I think McCaffrey and Kittle are going to be the X factors today. I think as much as I hope that, Kansas City can pull it out, I don't think they're going to be able to. I think it's going to San Francisco. It's going to be their day today. I think it's going to be their day if they don't get behind like they did the last couple of weeks and have to play catch up. So, let's see how they start out. That's good. That's going to be the big thing.
Yeah. For me, I want to see them get ahead and actually stay ahead, because that's actually been the problem with the Chiefs is you get them down in the Super Bowl, and then by halftime, and then all of a sudden in the third quarter they kind of wake up. And then they, I've seen it twice now. So it happened to my team. So it happened to your team. So I want to see a lead and then keep the lead, and not let Mahomes make this comeback. I've seen it too many times.
Yeah. No, I hear you. Yep. All right. So the game's 6:30, gentlemen. We'll see what happens, and we'll go from there. All right. Other league news. Let's get into some of this stuff. So I like this topic. Is the NFC East a mess now? All these coaches moving in and out. I think it's hysterical. Washington, they're like, Eric Bieniemy is like, yeah, thanks, Eric, but no thanks. All of a sudden, he's just gone. I'm like, what happened? Like, all these coaches going for one team to another. Like, what is going on? Let's start with Eric Bieniemy first, Jermaine.
Yeah. What is the deal with Eric? I don't get it. I mean, this is like, how many years going right now? He has not had a sniff at a head coaching job or even an interview. Am I correct?
Yeah.
I think
he's interviewed, but he hasn't gotten a job. But he has interviewed.
Yeah.
Oh, he has interviewed. Oh, he has. Okay.
Yeah. Not the last cycle, but he has interviewed before, but he just didn't get the job.
I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't understand that. I mean, there's something it's something deep inside. Is he a mass murderer? I don't know. I mean, Jesus. I mean, is he?
Well,
I
he
mean,
did
does
murder
he?
their offense, but
Yeah, I don't have no answers for that. I don't. I mean, maybe you guys do. I have no answers.
yeah.
I don't know what the deal is.
I wish we
Yeah,
could get
I
Heffen
think
with the chat, but I mean, yeah, Mike, what is it
yeah.
going on with him?
Yeah, I mean, I think the big question is what's next for him, because
Yeah.
he didn't get another offer to be offensive coordinator anywhere, so now, because can he go back to the Chiefs? Or is he just going to be like a special assistant somewhere? Does he need to go to the college ranks and call plays and become like an innovative play caller there and then make his way back to the NFL? I don't know what he decides to do, but yeah, there's something about him that just, people don't want to give him the job. Like it's gotta be something that stands out. I mean, other guys have gotten it. You can't say that it's something more devious, race based or something like that. I mean, it's just he doesn't give people the warm and fuzzies. I don't know what it is.
If I was a reporter, I would be on that all over. It's like, come on, man. It's been like almost 7 or 8 years, and this man has not. That's like I don't get it. I'll definitely be on that. Really,
do players not like him? Is that what it is? Is he not responding to the players?
Yeah, Sal, and that's I'm glad you said that because me thinking outside the box, this era today doesn't like discipline. Training camp. He what happened with him in training camp with the Washington Commanders, and how he, I think these young guys, they do listen and they are hard players and all that, but it's this new era where they were like, we're not going to take no more type of old school way of coaching, and we know what to do because these new era guys, they kind of say, I don't need to hear that. Let's go. Come on, just coach. Let's do that. You don't have to tell me that I need to be doing this and that. Well, and I think maybe I might be wrong. It's just my opinion, but I know this is around the league, like around the league with other coaches too, that run into this problem where these players are just like, I don't want to hear it. Even in NBA, I think it's all sports, honestly.
Well, if that's the case, it goes back to all these players are a bunch of pansies. That's all. I mean, a bunch of crybabies, whiners. You getting paid all these millions of dollars and talk about, I don't want to have to hear that, and that's what it is. Now, I do agree. I mean, you're paying these people all this money, all this money and stuff, and then you can't coach this, because they got all this money, So it's like, I agree with that to that point, but. Like with the Fangio thing, with that Miami situation. Oh, I'm glad he's gone. It's a bunch of pansies in the NFL. I mean, you're almost getting frustrated as a fan looking at it, and all they do is just cry and bitch and moan. It's like, come on, stop. You know what I mean? I mean, the coach is there for a reason. Listen. I tell my kids now, I say, you got to listen. You got to focus. You don't know everything. You don't. Just because you're a superstar, you don't know everything. That is kind of frustrating.
Yeah, I hear you, but I mean, we don't know how he communicates. I mean, I think there's still a line of, being tough and holding people accountable, and then there's this outright just like berating players. And I don't know if he's to the point where he's like really tearing people down versus trying to actually coach. And so that could be where part of the problem is that the way they hear it is this dude's just. He ain't really trying to make me better. He's just trying to tear me apart versus, other coaches who, I kind of think about like what Shanahan did to Ayuk a little bit where he benched him and, to try to get that message across. They ain't have to cuss him out or anything like that, but he's just like, you're not practicing hard. And I see you in practice, and until you get better at running your routes and I see it, you're not playing, and put him in the doghouse and that's it. So it was effective because now you see how he's playing now. But I don't know if Bieniemy is just a yelling screamer type person that just always yells and screams, and that will get tuned out, pretty quickly with some of these players. It just they don't sound like you're being coached; they just sound like you're just being screamed at.
Yep.
Yeah, and I wonder how well, and that's a perfect segue to how well the Eagles defense is going to respond to Vic Fangio. I mean, who are they going to have on that defense? How well are they going to respond? I mean, there's no question the Eagles are going to have a big turnover, especially in their secondary and at linebacker. So, is Vic going to be able to get more out of these guys on the defensive line too? I mean, we talked about how they ran out of gas at the end of the season, right? You know, we talked about Jalen Carter and, you know, or I call him Stacey Abrams, but that's another story. But you know, but all these guys, I mean, you know, Vic's coming in here. He's got, you know, he's got these players are going to have to work for him. Is it going to make them better? Can he turn Bradbury around if they keep him, which I can't see them keeping him, but I don't know. I think it's going to be a tough situation, you know? And then Mike raised a good point. Did the Eagles bring in too many experienced coordinators where Sirianni is just going to be like a figurehead?
Yes. Yep. That's it. That's it, baby. All he is just on the sideline, and he's a raw rock. Then why did you even keep him? You know what I mean? And it you know, it goes back to the point when I was talking to Dre. You know, you got Nick Sirianni's a puppet, and we had other puppets that was there. I mean, Doug Peterson got out. You know, he's like, look, you know, I wanted to keep these coordinators. You tell me I can't, I'm done. You know what I mean? So, and he seemed like he was the smartest one. But I posed the question: do you think that we fired Andy Reid too early? Because the only thing that, hold on, Sal. The only thing that I said, the reason why I'm saying that is ever since Andy Reid, it hasn't been right since as far as head coaches. It hasn't been right, Sal. You know what I mean? So what do you think?
You know, it's funny because everybody around here always says, and I've read multiple articles from sports writers about it, that Jeffrey Lurie always knows when to get rid of their coaches. Now, you can make the same argument with Doug Peterson. Did they get rid of him too early? You know? You know, so is it Jeffrey Lurie just not giving them enough leeway? I mean, I do think in some ways, I mean, you look at Andy Reid's last season, I think he was 5-12. So the team, from what he said, was heading in the wrong direction. And I mean, you looked at the direction. They went from obviously getting in the Super Bowl to losing in the championship game to losing in the wild card. Then they went 5-12. They were heading in the wrong direction. So that's when he decided there. In terms of Doug Peterson, I don't know. Like, that was just,
all right. Well, Sal, let me, because, you know, Dre brought up some interesting points when he's laying in the bed playing sick. It's yeah, but no, he brought up some interesting points. I mean, what? Andy Reid, Dre, go ahead. Andy Reid only had one losing season. You know what I mean? And then you're going to fire him?
Sal, correct. He was 5-12, and that was his only losing season out of his 13 years with the Eagles.
Yep.
So that tells me it's Jeffrey Lurie.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, come on, man. You have a pedigree coach that came in when Philadelphia was nothing and brought them to be an elite team in the NFL and had consecutive NFC East championships, right? And then had a Super Bowl appearance and stuff. And then after that, you only had a bad one season, 5-12. And Jeffrey Lurie said, I'm not going to renew your contract for next year. And that's what happened. Andy Reid knew the writing was on the wall. You know what Andy Reid did? He already had it set up where Kansas City already fired their general manager. Kansas City was ready to take Andy Reid, and Andy Reid was already talking to him when there were planes in Philadelphia. Yep. I mean, this is all documented. And that tells me right there, man, that it comes down to another daggone Dallas Cowboy owner. You know, they want to win every single time, and to me, they cut Andy Reid too short. But at the same time, it was Andy Reid's blessing, because I think if he stayed with Philadelphia, it would probably still be turmoil. And look where he is now. He is considered a Hall of Fame coach of what he is now. So
but you got to be honest. You know, I don't think he would be a Hall of Fame coach if he didn't have Patrick Mahomes. You know, I mean that Mahomes really bailed him out on a lot of bad plays. If Mahomes' magic didn't come through, we'd be talking different conversation. And you also have to listen to what you just said. Andy Reid was the coach for 13 years with the Eagles. I mean, and had no Super Bowls. I mean, I know it was one losing season, but I mean, I think everybody on this podcast probably had the same narrative about Andy Reid. He's never going to win them a championship. I mean, that was the feeling. And if you're an owner of the team, no matter how many times you keep getting there, you're going to eventually say, dude, I got to get somebody else that can get us to the next step. They used to say that about Tony Dungy all the time. You know, it's like, I got to get somebody else to get us over the hump. You're a great coach, but you're never going to win the big one. You know, so, I mean, I think I probably wouldn't have fired him, but yeah, after 13 years, I'm pretty sure you get tired of it and say, we got to try something different.
Okay, well, then that just lines up, guys. That just lines up with Nick Sirianni. Nick Sirianni, okay, he went 11-6, but he faltered the last 7 games and whatnot. And you feel as though that the team is going in the right direction now? I mean, you compare that to Andy Reid. I mean, come on. You know what I mean? And then you bring him back. See, this is what I'm talking about. I think Andy Reid, yes, like Dre said, it was a blessing in disguise that he got out because what? After Philadelphia fired him 4 hours later, Kansas City hires him. So it makes us look like a dumbass. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, okay. Yeah, this is what, and now look at it. This man's about to go in the 3rd Super Bowl and whatnot, but yet you're going to keep Nick Sirianni, a damn puppet, bring in these veteran quarterbacks. It doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean? It really doesn't make any sense because I feel as though Nick Sirianni had a worse record than what Andy had when he was 5-12. I mean, come on. I mean, the man has put in it, you know, Andy Reid put in his work, and now you see what the deal is. And Andy Reid has the last laugh. Looking at us in Philly, he's like, yeah, y'all a bunch of dumbasses for letting me go and whatnot. And I get it, Mike. 13 seasons, I get it. But, you know, it's nothing to laugh at when you have 4 NFC championships and 1 Super Bowl. Yeah, I get it. We didn't win a Super Bowl without him. But what if Andy would have stayed? We didn't have a quarterback when he was fired.
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes probably would have been in Philadelphia. How about that? Because Andy Reid drafted Patrick Mahomes. I mean, that's the way I look at it, you know? We would have had Patrick Mahomes.
And Sal, let me open up Pandora's box about Howie. Andy Reid was the operational manager for Philadelphia, correct?
Yeah, general manager. Yeah.
General manager of operations, right?
I don't know if he was really general manager. He's definitely part of the decisions. I don't know.
But he was part of the drafting and picking and recruiting players. He did Westbrook. Yeah. He did Westbrook. He did Donovan McNabb.
Yeah.
He did a bunch of other players too. So how much is it involved where missing a guy like Andy Reid for drafting versus Howie having the total control?
Yeah, well, I mean, look at Chip Kelly. He was drafting too, and look what happened. So,
I'm gonna tell you about Chip Kelly. Chip Kelly is incompetent as a coach. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
he's horrible. So I forget him.
No, I hear you. And then the Doug Peterson. I mean, you look at him. The guy won a Super Bowl. All right, did he get lucky? I don't know, maybe, but the guy did take him to the Super Bowl and he won it. One of the only ones in Eagles history. So, I mean, and then you fire the guy, you know, all right, he's not doing great in Jacksonville. All right, well, was it players? Was it his coaching? I don't know.
Yeah.
But it is suspect, for sure. But
yeah,
well, only time will tell, man. Let's see what happens. Let's get into some of the other coaches really quickly. Dallas, Jesus, you know, I mean, Dallas I don't see that. I can't believe Dallas didn't make a change. I mean, you guys see any reason why Dallas didn't want to make a change?
Him being a puppet.
Yeah, and that's true. What they were going to change too, you know. I mean, I was the one who was kind of talking about the whole NFC East is kind of a mess right now because of the coaching changes and everything. Like, you know, Dan Quinn leaving Dallas, who was probably, you know, aside from what they look like in the playoffs, you know, probably one of the better coaches and a big part of their success this season. So him going to Washington now really upsets that team. So Dallas has a lame duck coach because they didn't renew his contract. So they know that if things go bad, he's getting fired. You know, who knows where the Giants are going to be at? They look pretty bad this season. And then the Eagles, you know, look like they could have a mutiny if things go bad because, you know, Nick doesn't look like he's really doing anything because they got all these crazy coordinators now. Yeah. It's really a mess right now at the whole division. You know, I think Jerry just – I guess Jerry just didn't know who to get. I guess he just felt – you know, he's been loyal like that. I mean, he's loyal to a fault with his coaches. You know, he kept Jason Garrett around forever, you know. and now it looks like he's keeping Mike McCarthy around for as long as he possibly can.
Well, you could say the same thing about the Eagles and Jeffrey Lurie and Howie Roseman. He kept Howie around.
Until Jerry, I'm sorry to say, you guys probably think I'm mean or whatever. Until Jerry's 6 feet. Until Jerry Jones is 6 feet underneath the ground, Dallas is never going to win anything. I'm sorry. I'm just saying. Because once Jerry is in control. What you just said, he kept Jason Garrett for a long because he's a puppet. You know what I mean? Mike McCarthy, because he's a puppet. Jerry wants to control him because he think he knows it all. Well, how do you know it all? And you haven't won anything since the cassette player was back in the day. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, come on. How do you know everything? I mean, just sit back, let coaches coach. You hired these coaches for a reason. Go somewhere to some other country and just enjoy yourself and let the Dallas, coaches and organization, let it run itself. I mean, I would think you would have a top-notch organization if you just keep your hands out of the cookie jar. That's all. Yeah. And it looks like that's about the same way what's going on with Jeffrey Lurie, like you said, Sal.
Yeah, I know. And let's not forget that Jerry Jones' son's waiting in the wings. I don't know that it's going to get any better. Right? He's going to run it the same way.
Yeah, you're right.
So he's already there. I mean, he's already involved. So I don't know if that's going to change.
He's probably going to run it like DraftKings.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
All right. Well, I want to get to Mike's game. Great conversation, guys. So let's get to Mike's game. It is Super Bowl Sunday. We got, this going on. So Mike, what do you got, man?
So I got a quick game. I call it run it back because, we always talk about teams, that lose. And then, the first thing you say is, oh, we're going to be back next year. Next year we're going to be, back in it. So what I went is pick the teams or players from this year. And you just basically got to tell me, are they going to get back to at least where they were this year or further? Or are they going to, they're not getting there.
All right.
So I'll just throw a name out or a team out, and you guys can just see what you think. So right off the bat, we're going with the MVP of the league, Lamar Jackson. Is he going to do it again? Is he going to get to the AFC Championship game, home field advantage, and have an MVP season on top of that? Is he running it back?
No. He is on the road of Kirk Cousins in the playoffs.
Wow.
He is. Wow. And I don't see him developing any better next year. Sorry, Baltimore fans. Sorry, Lamar Jackson, but you just can't get it done, man.
Wow, Mike, your people at work are never gonna let you hear that on Monday, man.
Yeah, but I know that I'm about to say he's probably loving it because of Baltimore Ravens fans. I'm serious, man. I'm really disappointed in Lamar Jackson because mid-season I had him an MVP, and then I showed the stats how he was improving, and Mike was proving me wrong. I was like, okay, he is showing me stuff, but then how he just faltered like that, man. I mean, really? And I said, Mike, the turnovers, that's his problem. And then I saw a little bit of inaccuracy. He still don't have no receivers.
Whoa. Zay Flowers, Dre? Come on, man. Zay Flowers. Yeah, all right. Well, that's pretty much everybody who else has like duo receivers. You know what I mean? Come on. I mean, and then they also have a tight end that was hurt. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, Andrew, you talking about Andrew, right?
Yeah.
No, the tight end, yeah.
Well, Andrews was hurt, but Likely came back. Both of them played in that game, but Likely was the starter at that point.
Yeah.
Likely's pretty good. He had a good season.
Yeah.
But, I had to throw it out there because, I don't know if Baltimore's going to get back to where they were. I mean,
I agree.
I don't have that feeling of this is going to happen again next year. I think this was the year to catch, especially catch Mahomes and the Chiefs sleeping, and they didn't capitalize. And I don't think that's going to happen again.
No, I agree.
Well, I think, my thing is, I think what the biggest hurt, I think you got in Lamar's head, Kansas City got in Lamar's head, and Lamar got frustrated quick. You know what I mean? Because he couldn't do what he wanted to do, and then that's how he forced that bad. I was like, how the hell are you going to throw in the triple coverage in the end zone? I was like, come on. So the frustration settled in. And I think also the running game. I mean, they haven't. I mean, when is the last time they had healthy running backs? I mean, they was lying on one running back, and then what? He tore his Achilles or something at the beginning of the season. I mean, they need a bona fide running back, a running game. You know what I mean? And it just can't be on Lamar because Lamar is sensational when he does run the ball and stuff, but it just can't be on him. Just like with Josh Allen, you know, and they finally figured out to run the ball with James Cook. You need a solid running game behind Lamar Jackson, and I feel as though if they get something like that, I think they have a chance to get back to where they was this year. So I think that's their missing. I think that's missing component is their running back. Somebody to complement Zay Flowers. You don't need a top-notch wide receiver. Somebody that can complement, and Odell Beckham is not it, you know. But you know you're good at the tight end. You know, you got a double tight end. And yeah, if you can find like a good backup or a good somebody that can complement Zay Flowers, yeah, I think they can get back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I know this next point is going to be controversial, so let me go ahead and throw it out there. This guy got the second place votes for MVP, and that would be Mr. Rain Dakota Prescott. Are they getting back or further than where they were this year? Is he going to have another great season if the Cowboys going to at least get to the playoffs and actually win a playoff game?
Get back where? Where they've been there. They've been in the same place they had the last 5 years? What are you saying? Get back.
Hey,
they'll get back. You know what? They'll get back. Yeah, they'll get back. They'll get back, and then they'll get bounced out the first round. Yup. Yeah, they'll get back. You're right. I had to think about what I said, Mike. You're right. They'll get back. They'll get back.
I know Dre will be really disappointed if Dak doesn't have
no one from the NFC East has ever repeated as division champion, so keep that in mind.
I will say this though. And I'm looking right at the camera at Dak Prescott. Great, man. 10 interceptions. You got a cookie. Good job. But what else did you do? You didn't do a goddamn thing. You didn't do nothing. The same stuff you do every season is you lose. And that's what Cowboys have not been there since Troy Aikman. Even
running
Troy
back.
Aikman stayed himself.
Yeah,
running back? No.
Running back. Running back. Running back, Dre.
Dak Prescott, I'm so proud of you, man. 10 interceptions. Good job.
Rain Dakota. No, he don't. You know what? He don't even deserve Dak anymore. It's Rain Dakota. So from now on, anybody Cowboy fans, anything, his name is Rain Dakota. That's what it is.
I think Stephen Smith. I think our friend Stephen A. Smith said it best. I told you. You know.
Oh yeah, he's like, did I tell you? I told you. Did I tell you?
Here we go.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Yeah. I don't know if they're going running back. This might be the year where it all falls
Dak.
apart.
You got 10 interceptions.
Rain, Dre.
Sorry, Rain. I'm proud of you. I'm real proud of you. Yeah. What did you do? You were shaking in the playoffs. I mean, dude, you can't handle pressure. You can't. Mm-hmm. As a quarterback, you got to handle pressure, Dak, and you're just not the answer for the Dallas Cowboys. Oh, and by the way, who was your coach in Brian Johnson? You guys remember him? He was Dak's quarterback coach.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he doesn't have a job right now. So yeah.
He's interviewing. He's got more interviews than Eric Bieniemy.
He's got more interviews than Belichick, Pete Carroll, Mike Vrabel, Aaron Glenn, Ben Johnson, Anthony Weaver, Eric Bieniemy, Mike Kaffa. He's got more interviews than all those guys.
Yeah. Good point. So the next one I got is Detroit Lions. They of course got the championship game. They kept their offensive coordinator, so everybody is coming back, and they got draft picks still. They got a lot of cap room, so they're pretty well managed. So are they running it back? Are they getting back to the NFC Championship game and possibly going to the Super Bowl next year?
I think.
I'm going to say
beat them.
Yeah, I'm going to say Dan Campbell's on the hot seat.
Agreed. What? I was going to answer last. Yeah. I was going to answer last, but I agree with that.
Dan Campbell's on the hot seat. I feel as though, Detroit's got to be pissed off, man. Him going for that fourth down and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? So
Yes.
I feel as though now he's going to be double, triple, and questioning himself. Do I go for the 4th down? Do I do this? Do I do that? I don't know, man. I think he's shook. I think he is shook because I think that still bothers him that he went for it. He keeps saying that I would do it. I'll do it again. I'll do it again. No, you won't. Because I wouldn't have done it again. I wouldn't have done it again. You know what I mean? So he's shook. He's shook. I think he might be on the hot seat. That's just my opinion.
But answer Mike's game about Detroit winning it. That's what you said, right? Back to
running back.
Running back
where they was at, right?
Running it back to where they's at. No. No, I don't think they're gonna make it back this far. They did. And
they surprised a lot of teams. That's what you.
No, they did. They surprised a lot of teams.
Yeah, but now you're on the radar,
out, right?
Yeah, you're on the radar now. You're on the radar.
I mean, this might be their hangover because this 35 years has been since they been to there and never been actually. So, and then like Jermaine was saying, man, I think Campbell needs to stop having that casino mindset. So
he the new Riverboat Ron, right?
I'll read Hef's comments. Lamar can't beat Patty Mac.
Patty Mac.
Baltimore.
Patty Mac.
Cowboys fall back this year. Dan Campbell is a moron. So that's man, that's great.
That's a good segue to the next one I got for the game. So Jordan Love, man. So the guy started out a little cool, but then had essentially almost MVP like second half of the season. The team looked like they gelled. They had the 49ers on the ropes. Are they running it back? Are they getting back to the playoffs? And then are they going further into the playoffs next year?
Man, let me tell you. Yeah, they're running it back, man. Because you know what? Jordan Love, I think he had his coming out party this season. You know what I mean? And into the playoffs and whatnot by beating Dallas, you know what I mean? By handing it, by pretty much almost handing it to San Fran and whatnot. Yeah, I mean, if the receivers, guys, could stay healthy, I mean, you got some talented receivers, but they can't stay healthy. You got a running game, you got a pretty good offensive line. I like the coach. I like LaFleur. You know what I mean? But Jordan Love, I think he had his coming out party this season. Yeah, I agree with Dre. He's running it back. It's a young team, and I think they're hungry, and that's what you see. So they got a taste of it, and I think they're gonna go a little further next year.
All right. I agree. Yeah, I think Love, when I first saw him, he has an arm. He's accurate and he's consistent. The thing is he just needed time to develop. And they did the same thing with Jordan Love that they did with Brett Favre. He had time to get behind, watch for a little bit. They didn't rush him in, and it's paying off. And I think it's going to continue that.
Yeah, what the hell are you talking about, Brett Favre? I mean, you mean Aaron Rodgers?
Well, Aaron Rodgers sat behind, then
sorry, I never put Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, we know what you're saying, though, Sam.
I know.
Well, Aaron Rodgers did the same thing with Brett Favre too, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
saying. Rodgers sat for a while before Favre, and then Love sat behind Rodgers. That's how they used to do it back in the day. No one ever started right away.
Yeah.
I got another good one. This one is kind of controversial. Josh Allen and the Bills, are they running it back? This has been a number of years of the same,
I don't know. I know, right? I don't. Yeah. Hey, Dre, flip that coin.
Well, here I'm gonna throw a wrench in it. Is Miami going back? Because I'm thinking about that division.
No.
So Sal said no. Mike, Buffalo.
I think you bring up a good point. That division has been pretty bad, but now how many years is Buffalo going to get kind of a free pass of not having strong competition in that division?
4 times
Miami's been all right, but they haven't been. Miami's getting better. One of my running back picks is going to be the Jets, but the Jets were supposed to be the team to take that division. And then of course the Patriots are a little bit of a mess. But how many chances does Buffalo get? Are they going to run it back again and get to another divisional playoff game or further, or is that it?
Well,
we've seen this 6 years now.
And one thing, Jermaine said, they got a running game now. Buffalo's got a running game now. less on Josh Allen. Well, I don't know. The way I saw this guy this year, he didn't care. He's like, I'm running the damn ball.
Yeah, he ran that touchdown.
I mean, he is aggressive. I'm going to say, as I'm thinking about it, Buffalo's going to run it back.
Yeah.
With that division, I think so.
I was just reading Hef's comments, and he wants to know, and it goes along with the division, how long is the Patriots rebuild going to take? So that's what happened.
10 years.
Yeah, until they find another Tom. Until they find another Tom Brady
quarterback.
Yeah, they got to find another Tom Brady.
I don't think they can fix. I don't think they can salvage Mac Jones. I think they destroyed him pretty good. So they're back in the quarterback business.
Yeah, it's going back to the old ways.
Yeah.
So other pick I got for the running back, Baker Mayfield. You know, he had a pretty good season with the Buccaneers. You know, they got to the playoffs. It's how they're going to keep him. Is he running it back? Is Baker going to get back to the playoffs? Or this was a
smoking mirrors,
a magic show?
Magic show.
Smoking mirrors.
All the way because the Eagles gave him so much confidence.
Yeah, smoking mirrors, man. Come on.
Magic.
Yeah.
You know, his confidence level went up to the roof because how bad Philadelphia was.
Smoking mirrors. That's all. That's all I gotta say. Smoking mirrors.
This guy tends to do that for you. You know?
Yeah.
Nah, Baker Mayfield. I mean, I don't know, man. Because did you see frustration with Mike Evans throughout the whole season with him? You know what I'm
saying? A little bit. I mean, he threw the ball to him. I don't think he threw him enough. You know, I think that was one person.
Or is Mike Evans losing a step? Or is Mike Evans just getting old?
I don't think Mike Evans is going to be there next year. How about that? I don't think he's going to be. Did he sign a contract? I don't think he did. He sign a new contract? Did he sign an extension last year? Because I think he's a free agent. Yeah, I think he might not even be there next year. So, you know, I don't know,
that'd be a priority. They have to figure out something with him because that dude is still good.
Yeah, he's good. Yeah, he's good.
Magic, Mike.
I think Baker could run it back. You know, that division, they could get right back to where they were. I mean, that division was bad this year. And then, you know, Carolina, even though they got a new coach, they're still back to rebuilding again. And the Saints, I don't think Derek Carr is the answer. I think Derek Carr is just Derek Carr. And, you know, the Falcons are the only team. Yeah, well, later now they fired their coach. So I don't know what Raheem Morris is going to do, how they'll look. But, you know, that division is still kind of up in the air. That Tampa Bay no longer looks like the team that, you know, doesn't have, you know, they were supposed to be bad this year, you know, because they had no money. You know, they had a big Tom Brady cap hit. They don't have that no more. So now they can go out and actually get some more players. So if they can do that with no money and still get in the playoffs, they might actually run it back, get back to the playoffs again with Baker Mayfield as a quarterback.
God bless him.
Yeah, I think they got some defense. They got some defensive holes though. I don't know if the defense is strong enough. So
yeah, but they can fix that now because they got the money to fix it. They didn't have it before, but now they can actually get some players to make that defense a little better. So it'll be a team to watch. I'll be surprised. I think it'll be surprising.
All right.
So I got two more real quick. We can do them both at the same time. The two teams in the Super Bowl, the Chiefs and the Niners, regardless of what happens today, you think both could run it back and be right back where they are again next year?
I hope not.
Val, you answer.
I hope not. if I have to look at freaking, you know, Fred Warner's face and Greg Greenlaw's face one more time, I'm gonna vomit. You know, but you know, look, I said it before and I'll say it again. Until somebody proves me wrong and beats them, they deserve to be there, right? Who's beating the Chiefs? Nobody's gonna do it. So until somebody beats them, there you go.
True that.
So, Mike, you guys, coaching and players, are you guys intact for next year?
Yeah,
you're
only player right now that from a free agency standpoint that has to get signed is Brandon Ayuk. You know, Purdy's still cheap for one more year. Then they have to, you know, eventually pay him, especially if another year, like, you know, next year, like this year. I mean, he's going to get paid then for sure. But everybody else is on the contract. Like, literally everyone else is signed for at least another 2-3 years. And so they don't have to really worry about anybody.
When's McCaffrey out?
Yeah,
he got a new deal when they got him, so he's up for.
okay, he's okay.
Yeah, I mean, literally, Brandon Ayuk's like the only big name player, free agent that they got to worry about next year. Of the core guys, yeah.
If you lose tonight, Super Bowl hangover, right? Is what they always say, right?
True, yeah.
If you win, yeah, you might run it back. I think you might run it back.
Yeah.
Kansas City Chiefs. You didn't mention in your game about. Well, never mind. I'll mention that later. But I'm not trying to relate it to Kansas City. But
yeah,
I was gonna say, Kansas City, man. I don't know. Like I see more San Fran running it back. Kansas City, yes, we did say that dynasty and all that. But I'm just looking at like who I can see Kansas City, but I really can see San Fran running it back.
I'm being funny here. Why would you run it back with San Fran if they lose it in the Super Bowl today?
No, if they win.
Tonight. No, I'm just saying if they lose, you say run it back for next year.
Right.
Run it back for next year. You got all these people under contract and you lose again. It's like, okay, somebody got to sit back and say, okay, all right, we've been here for so many years. What's going on? What's wrong? You know what I mean? So this is, technically, Mike, you're right. Technically, this should be your year that you should be winning it tonight. This should be your year. But when you go into next year, there's got to be some people's got to be questioning some stuff, man. Seriously. Does it start with the coach? Does it start with the players or what? I mean, because you guys, like, 4 out of the last 5 years and whatnot? I mean, something's got to give.
It'll begin and end with the coach for sure if they don't win tonight. That's just a lock that's what the conversation is going to be.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think both teams have the chance to run it back next year with the players they got. It kind of stings me more to say Kansas City's going to run it back, but like you said, Sal, it always seems like until you beat them, they're going to be there. Just that team that just don't go away no matter which way, no matter how you attack them. Somehow they keep coming back for more,
Yeah. And who's going to beat the Niners in the NFC? The Eagles? No, they're not going to. Eagles aren't going to. Detroit, maybe Green Bay.
Green Bay have chances. I think
Minnesota. No, we stop.
Oh,
you still got to watch out for a lot of the teams that were like the Lambs. You got to watch out for them because they had a great season. They could be back more.
Yeah,
I think it's still tougher for it seems funny because I think the AFC is the better conference with the better teams, but it almost still seems like it's tougher for the NFC teams to get there because they're so closely knit together in terms of from the top to the bottom, so anybody could beat anybody any day, where it always feels like the AFC is just like, the Chiefs could beat anybody any day of the week,
Yeah, but I just think the Niners are like, if you put the teams in tiers, the Niners have got to be a tier 1. And like Green Bay and Detroit, they're tier 2. I mean, the Eagles were up there at some point at tier 1, but now they're like tier 5. You can just throw them back down the bottom, man. And they just got to get their act together. But, you got to have somebody if you're, who's going to beat them. And I don't know who in the NFC is going to. And if San Francisco is truly intact next year, barring any injuries to like McCaffrey or a major injury, who's gonna beat them?
Right.
So,
exactly.
All right. So good stuff, guys. Go ahead, Dre.
Wait, Mike, you didn't mention Houston. They going back.
I was on the list. I just didn't mention them because of time. But Houston was the other running back team.
They're running it back.
Yeah.
They're running it back.
I think so too. I think Houston's got a winner. Yep.
Yeah,
serious,
I think they got to the playoffs. They lost the first round, but I think they could definitely go further next year.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. So, some quick comments from Hev. Hev says Tampa has to keep Baker. They lost their offensive coordinator. That is interesting. But Tampa, I don't know, man. I can't buy into Tampa yet. I'm just not there yet. But anyway, all right.
Yeah, they just got to win the division, right? That's the thing with you don't have to. You just got to win the division to get in the playoffs, and then after that, you can win a game.
Yeah, any given Sunday. You're right, Mike. And who knows, man? Any given Sunday. So, all right, guys. Really quickly, closing thoughts on the season. We'll go around super quick here. We'll start with Jermaine. Closing thoughts on the season overall.
We did 23 episodes this season.
Mm-hmm.
Good Lord, that's 23 weeks, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. Nah, but I think overall, I think it was a good season. From beginning to end. But yeah, I love working with you guys. I look forward to it every Sunday, doing this and just talking and all that stuff. And we keep being consistent and all that stuff. I mean, we're gonna grow. I mean, I know we got over the off season we'll get some fresh ideas and stuff. You know what I mean? I wasn't going to say anything. You know what I'm saying? But I do have this one guy. This one guy that lives in my neighborhood. His mom lives in His mom lives in my neighborhood, and I'm not going to say anything. But he's a star. He plays in the NFL, so he comes home from time to time. So I'm not even going to say anything. But I'm lining the stuff up, and his mom said once he gets home and all that stuff, he played for the Cowboys. So he was the
oh God,
yeah, he played for the
he ain't gonna
Cowboys.
like me.
He played for the Cowboys. He's a left tackle. He's the backup for Tyrone Smith. So, and a couple of times I've seen him. But yeah, that's as far as I'm going to go. But I'm in the talk, so I wasn't really going to say that because I've been talking to her, during the season and talking about the podcast. She's like, I think he'll like it. When he gets home, let's talk. So talk to him and stuff. So yeah, so hopefully that'll, put us on there and whatnot, putting the NFL active guy and whatnot, so, well, yeah. But other than that, man, I enjoy it. It was, it was a good season. Looking forward to it. We'll be right back at it before you know it. It's like, dang, where did the off season go? So, but yeah. Appreciate you guys.
Well, thanks, man. Yeah, and I gotta say I wasn't going to say anything, but I'm working on something too. This she used to work for Good Morning Football. Now she's on DraftKings. So
Christ, you've been working that for a little while now.
Well, you're funny.
She was supposed to work for Amazon. That didn't work, and
clear.
She gave you a postcard for Christmas.
Dre, what do you got wrapping up the season?
Man, I got chilies and wings, man. That's what I got.
No.
But, I was about to say, like, what the heck?
Super Bowl, man. What are you talking about?
Yeah, somebody get this guy a Sprite with that, man. Come on.
Yeah, I know. Give him a bottle of 2 liters.
I got a
2-liter Sprite. Yeah. Oh, ginger ale. Yeah.
No, it's a great season. As always, man. I think we really, really excel every season. I think we had really good guests on this year. I think we had a lot of good controversial topics and stuff. As our podcast. As for the NFL, I think the East is going to be a clean board. So we'll see how the NFC East. I that's going to be interesting, and how I mentioned at the beginning of the season, like I wasn't sure about our defensive coordinator, offensive coordinator, and how the season was going to go, and I was totally caught off guard. We went 10 straight. Then saying that, it just all went to hell after that. So as for the Eagles, man, yeah, they gotta show something next season. They really do. They want to be on top of the NFC East. As the NFL overall, man, yeah, man, it was an interesting season, I have to say, and got to give it to Mike. San Fran hasn't been there since 1985. Is that what the last time y'all went?
No, they went 4 years.
No, 2000 and
2019.
2000. That's right.
COVID. Yeah. That was so. It's the rematch.
Yeah, it's the rematch.
That was supposed to happen the next year. Took 4 years, but yeah, that's the rematch.
But your last ring was when?
Last ring was 94. Yeah,
94. Okay.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, so very interesting season, guys. So I'm looking forward to the next season and getting more people involved into our show. So,
all right.
Oh yeah,
Mike.
Yeah, I'd say for the show for sure. 23 episodes. I mean, I really enjoyed this. I enjoyed, like you said, Jermaine, I look forward to this every Sunday, being able to, talk with you guys, especially about football. It's been an interesting season. I was glad to get a little payback, thanks to Deebo Samuel and against the Eagles. So that was a lot of fun. But I just look back at some of the moments of the season that just had me rolling. I mean, of course, you got the edited episode when Jermaine and Dre we had it for about 20 minutes, and it's nonstop cussing each other out. That was crazy. But
it kind of reminds me of Warren Sapp and what's the name when they went off to each other. I'm sorry. I don't know. Shannon Sharp. Sorry, Shannon Sharp and what's the name went off on each other.
Yeah. Oh my God. That was hilarious, but
I wish we would have kept it on there. That was hilarious. But there's no way you can edit that, man.
When Shannon Sharp and what was the other guy's name when he said, "I've been to 3 Super Bowls," and he said, "I don't care what you did."
But as the NFL season itself, it always has something for you to talk about, right? There's just never. We always have a show because they always give us the content to do the show, right? There's always things going on in the NFL we can talk about, good or bad. I mean, we certainly didn't expect the season to go the way it went. I thought San Fran would be good, but I always kept saying the Eagles are going to be the team that would be right there back in the NFC Championship game. We have another rematch again, and I never would have thought the Eagles would have had the season that they had at the end. But that's the NFL. I mean, that's how stuff happens, and. I enjoyed the season and I'm looking forward to tonight. Go Niners, hopefully make my day and go from there.
Yeah, we wish you luck tonight, Mike. In all seriousness, we joke about Greenlaw and Big Dom and all this stuff, but when your team gets a chance like that, it's not very often that you can get there, and you'd like to see him get over the top. So best of luck tonight with that. And
there ain't no luck here. I mean, no, I'm being serious. I don't want San. I don't want San Fran. Mike, you my boy, but no, man. I mean, that's the enemy. Sal, stop.
Do you hear those gunshots in the background? That's the bullets flying.
Clear.
Had to go to the gun range.
Oh man! But with that being said, I'll echo what you guys had mentioned. It is a pleasure to do this every week. It is something that we look forward to, and we definitely appreciate. We keep growing. And that's definitely something that we appreciate. Every week we get more and more followers and we get more and more people liking our videos, subscribing and all that. So it's all about, coming together. And, like you guys said, no matter how weird the season was, every week we had something to talk about and we came together, and that's what's important. So, thank you guys for all that. And, it's been fun. I think this year, the highlight for me was when we actually all met up in Philly, man. Like that was the first time we've all been together, that
is true.
That was great. I had to protect Mike from those guys who were screaming out the car window when we were walking back to our car, but that was another
this guy, that was hilarious.
That was hilarious. He didn't know it was me. He didn't know. I'm like,
if you want to do an intro, that was it. That was it right there. Jesus.
Yeah, I got my head out the window in the corner. He look at this guy.
This guy was head out the car like a dog, and he's like, I'm like, who's that?
Car like a dog.
But
what did I say? I said you suck or something, right?
You talking about Niner,
yeah, you suck.
Great. Oh my God, that was awesome. So, well, you can like or subscribe our YouTube channel. We're also on all social media, of course. We're on Facebook, Twitter, all that good stuff. We are on every Sunday at 11 a.m. Although with the off season coming up, we're going to talk about what we're going to stay every week or switch to every other week. But definitely check us out and like our channel and subscribe button. If you click that, you'll get alerts to when we're actually going to be on. enoughsaidcrew@gmail.com, which Dre just put up, is our email list. If you just want to reach out to us anytime, give us some suggestions or comments. And quick shout out to our friends over at ADU, All Dressed Up, who had a great show last week. Too bad I didn't watch it, but they had a great show from what I heard. So shout out to ADU and those guys, except Katie's a fraud Eagles fan. We'll worry about that later. And sorry, man, the Commanders, they got some problems, but we'll worry about that later. But shout out to those guys. If you haven't watched them, ADU All Dressed Up, you can catch them every Sunday night as well at 9:00 on their channel on YouTube. So, gentlemen, good show as always, and we'll catch up with you on the flip side.
All right, y'all. Enjoy the Super Bowl. All right, Mike.
Yeah.
Get ready.
Your shot.
We're up.
Tex will be
flying
tonight.
ready.
Yeah. I'll try not to send too many throw up emojis like I usually do every time.
I don't want you to throw that nice hat on the ground and start stomping on it.
Nah, I'm good either which way. You know what? I'm just excited to watch the game, see them have a chance. You know.
All right, man.
It's their turn to take on the champ. You know?
All right, man. Good luck, Mike.
All right, y'all.